So I hope my screen is visible. Yes or no? Perfect. Yes. Okay. So yeah. So coming to your coding round. Coding round. Okay. So let us know basically the out. Before going to the questions, let us know. Let us understand like what will be in your coding round and how. What is the timings? What? How many questions you will getting? What is the difficulty of the questions? Okay. So in your coding round, you will be getting two questions. Okay, you will be getting two questions, and the timer will be 45 minutes combinedly. 45 minutes combinedly for both the questions. Okay, 45 minutes combinedly for both the questions. Okay, so the difficulty would be easy to medium. Okay, the difficulty would be easy to medium. Okay, so you won't be getting any hard questions. The difficulty will be easy to medium. And the main concepts that will be covered in your coding round would be mostly uh, from your arrays and strings. Just a minute.
ఎందుకు ఏ గది ఆగు నేను చూపిస్తున్నాను.
Yeah. So the coding round has two questions, 45 minutes combinedly. So for each question, you won't be getting 45 minutes. Combinedly, you will be having 45 minutes to solve both the questions. Okay. And the difficulty rating is easy to medium. That means, as you all see, the timer is 45 minutes for both the questions. That means the difficulty would be also same. So it is not so easy to complete two questions in 45 minutes. So the difficulty would be easy to medium. So if a question is easy to medium level, then you can easily solve both the questions in 45 minutes, right? No. So everyone won't get the same questions. There will be a set of questions. So the questions would be jumbled. Yeah, so main concepts will be arrays and strings mostly. That means based on integers and strings. Okay, mostly you will be getting questions from arrays and strings, not more than this. Okay, so yeah, I think the clearing criteria would be you need to clear both the questions. That means if you clear both the questions, then coming to your technical round, it would be very easy for you guys to clear your technical round based on your written exam score. Okay, they might consider your both the scores of your MCQs and coding part, and then they may consider you to shortlist for the interview. Okay, so your aim is to solve two questions. If not possible, even those who solve one questions also, they might get a chance to clear, or else you will get a mail immediately that we regret to inform that you have not cleared your written test. Okay, so we need to aim that we should clear two questions. That's it. Okay, so okay, so I hope this part is clear, right? Coding round, two questions, 45 minutes combinedly difficulty would be easy to medium. Main concepts would be arrays and strings. Okay. Yeah, sure. Just a minute. So I think they can unmute themselves, ma'am. If anyone has a doubt, they can unmute themselves and then they can speak out. So if I unmute all, then it would be a disturbance. So that is the reason. So those who want to ask anything, they can unmute themselves and then ask. So yes. So now coming to the interface. Okay, coming to the interface of the coding platform. So most of you people doesn't understand the interface of the coding platform, and then they, even if they know the program, they doesn't know how to execute a program, right? They don't know how to execute a program. So okay, so on the left side part, so you'll be having a screen like this. Okay, you'll be having a screen like this, and in the left side part, it low. Is it low? I mean, is it audible now? Okay, let me speak louder. So yeah, so in the left side part, okay, so in the left side part, you'll be having your question. Okay, question interface. Mostly you'll be having your question. That means you'll be having the description of the question, the input, output, explanation, and everything regarding your question. Okay, in the left side panel. In the left side panel, you'll be having your question, and in the right side panel, okay, and the right side panel here, you'll be having your coding platform. That means where you write your code. So you'll be having an option. You'll be like, okay, I forgot to mention, and the languages allowed would be C, Java, Python, C++, and other language. So I think mostly you people are aware of C, Java, Python, C++. So you are easy to, so what if you execute one successfully and another one is partially executable? They might consider, I mean, based on the score of the test cases, they might consider. Okay, it mainly depends upon how many test cases you are clearing and how many you are not. Okay, so yeah, so regard that questions we can discuss at the end. So the languages supported would be C, Java, Python, C++, and mostly you'll be having other languages also. Okay, so the problem will be on arrays and strings or any other concept. Mostly it will be on arrays and strings. So yes, so here in the right side panel, you will be having an option drop down to choose programming language. Okay, drop down to choose programming language. After choosing the language only, start writing the code. I mean, most of you people, what they do is they directly start writing the code, and after, in the middle, they will observe that they haven't choose a programming language, and then that time they will choose the programming language. At that time, your code will be erased. Okay, so the first thing you should do is, before writing the code, choose the programming language on the right side panel, I mean in the drop down list, and then start writing the code. Okay, and then start writing the code. Okay, start writing the code. Fine. Okay, so after writing the code, what next? After writing the code, so you'll be having a compile and run button, or run button. Okay, so after writing the code, click on compile and run button below. After clicking, you will be getting an output panel below. So if your code has any errors, it will show errors in the output panel. Okay, it will show errors in the output panel, or it will show that test cases are failed. Okay, test cases are failed. So then after looking at it, you need to change your code and compile it again. So if your code works fine for both basic test cases and internal test cases, then you will see all the tick marks. Okay, all the tick marks. But another important thing that you need to keep in your mind is hidden test cases. hidden test cases. So this is the most important thing. Okay, so when he gives a question, okay, he will be giving only 2 or 3 test cases. Okay, so by looking at it, you can write the code so that your code passes the 3 test cases. So he will check, okay, there will be hidden test cases. He will be checking whether your code is clearing the hidden test cases or not. Okay, your code is clearing hidden test cases or not. So that hidden test cases will not be visible to you. They will not show you whether they are passed or not. Okay, I mean, Accenture has different platforms of conducting exam. So in few platforms he will be showing the whether your hidden test cases are passed or not, but in 1 or 2 of the platforms, I mean, whether they are cleared or not, he will not show. That will be done internally. So you need to make sure that your code is satisfying all the conditions in the question given. You need to read the question carefully, understand the input, output, and then you need to write your code in such a way that it will also clear the hidden test cases. Okay, it will also clear the hidden test cases. Yeah, CoCubes. So Accenture is also platform CoCubes. So if you are getting the platform CoCubes, then he will not show you the hidden test cases, but he is considering the hidden test cases. So even if you clear the basic test cases, you might not get selected if the hidden test cases are failed internally. So even if you clear the, no, mostly you won't be getting any questions from data structures and algorithms. You won't be getting mostly. Okay, so I hope the basic introduction to the coding round is clear for everyone, right? Uh, the basic, the number of questions, the timer, the difficulty level, the main concepts that might be covered, and your programming languages supported, and what is basic test case and what is hidden test cases, and how the coding interface would be. In the left side panel you will be having a question, in the right side panel you'll be having a coding screen or canvas to write the code, and the execution button below. Okay, so I hope that basic understanding is clear. If there is any TLE, sir, is there? I don't know what is TLE. Okay, so I hope for now it is clear, everyone. Time limit? No, there won't be any time limit errors. I mean, if it is going into infinite loop, then you might see that your test cases are failed, but there won't be any test case in such a way that it has a time limit or memory level exceeded of that kind of. So don't need to worry about the memory usage and time limit errors, but make sure that your code is very optimized way. It doesn't run into an infinite loop. So if it is going into infinite loop, then your basic test case also doesn't pass. Oh, is it breaking? Yeah. So it's 2 different language. No, I mean, no, it wouldn't be that case. I mean, you have a flexibility to write program in any language, but in the rare cases, I have seen that like in the rare case, I mean, in for one question, he will be giving only one programming language to choose and write. I mean, it could be Java, C, Python. I mean, I think it is not very sure. So for now, it is very flexible to choose your programming language and then write the question. But I will let you know, people, like what is the case now, like whether they are giving only one programming language to choose or not. It will display what's the error. Yeah, it will display the errors. No, it will display the error like what. Yeah, you can solve one question in Python and other in other programming language. I mean, you are very flexible to choose your programming language and write. It is up to you. There won't be any problem. No, for two questions, you shouldn't. I mean, it is your choice. You can choose the same language, or else you can choose two different languages to each question. No problem. Based on your comfort, you can choose the programming language accordingly. Yes, Python will be present for both the questions in dropdown. So the reason is it is very flexible to use Python to write the code. I mean, in 45 minutes of time, clearing two questions is a bit task. I mean, for those who are beginning with the coding, it is very difficult to them to start to code in C, Java, and other languages. But if you are very much flexible in Python, okay, I will be teaching in Python. I mean, I'm here to teach in Python. So Python would be very easy. It is very simple to clear the two questions within 15 minutes or 20 minutes if you are very quick enough in Python, rather than going with other programming language. So if you're good enough or confident in other programming languages, then you can write it, no problem. But mostly, so if you are very much comfortable in Python, it is an advantage for those people who knows Python for these kind of time limit and the number of questions that you need to solve. Okay, so if you choose Python, then it is very much easy to solve, keeping in mind the time constraint. So I hope this is clear, the introduction for your coding platform. I mean, cutoff would be like, we don't know the cutoff. It would be based on the exam day. I mean, he will be considering like how many students have cleared. You can switch between, yes. You can switch between questions, no problem. Like you can switch to second question and solve it, and then you can go to first question and then solve it. Yes, I mean, that is the challenge, right? So it won't be showing the hidden test cases. So you need to make sure that your code works for every possible test case. That is up to you. During assessment, we have to run the code and also we have to submit the code in order to save the response. Will there be any such thing in Accenture exam too, sir? Mostly there will be. I mean, I think in CoCubes you won't be having a submit button again. I mean, you can just compile and run. If the test cases are shown as executed, then you can. That means that I think the code will be submitted. Is time limit and backspaces affect the score? No, time limit and backspaces doesn't affect your score. There won't be any problem with time limit and backspaces. Okay, that's fine. We'll be discussing again. I think we'll be here for around 2 to 3 days. I will be here, so I'll clear all your doubts regarding it. So we can discuss those questions at the end of your training sessions. Okay, in the last day we can discuss everything, and I will clear every doubt. Okay, so for now, just tell me whether everything is clear till now. What I have explained about the coding platform and everything clear, right? So you have an idea now. We can choose different. Yes, perfect. So you are clear with the coding interface and how many problems, the introduction of the coding platform. So now, fine. So now let us see. So how comfortable are you with coding? I mean, like at which level are you? I mean, you're the beginners or in an intermediate level or advanced level? Beginner level. Beginners. Okay. Beginner level. Intermediate, fine. Beginner level. So I think I can have a ratio of there might be 60% of the students as beginners, 30% as intermediate, and 10% as advanced. Might be. Okay, yeah, fine. So for now, I won't be going through all the concepts of your programming thing, but I have a set of questions of previous CoCubes exam. So I will be discussing that questions. So you might have a chance to, repeat that questions again in the exam. So there is a chance that you might get the same pattern or same kind of question in your exam. So we will be learning through the questions. Okay, I will be discussing the questions. So we'll go very slow. I will teach you everything regarding your coding round. Fine. So yeah, before that, so I know most of you all think that coding is very tough task. It is very difficult to write a code and execute it, but coding is very easy if you practice it regularly. I mean, so those who ask your friends who are in intermediate level or advanced level, it will be very challenging and very easy for them to write a code. That comes with practice. Trust me, if you just read a question and know only the concepts, it doesn't work. So if you solve a lot of questions from different platforms, then it makes you code easier. It will be very easy for you to write a code. Okay. Practicing platforms, you have HackerRank, you have HackerEarth, you have Code Signal. So I will be posting the practicing platforms. You have CodeChef. If you solve problems from those platforms, then you can easily clear any coding round of any company. Like might be a mid-level companies. So as far as you're going into data structures and algorithms, the complex coding, but for the basic companies, you can easily clear your coding round. Trust me, you don't need to fear about the coding round. So if you practice regularly the questions from the coding platforms, then you can easily clear your coding round. Okay. So now, so I will be taking you through what are the components of a coding question. So I won't be going into your basics again, explain what is integer, float, the loops again. So it would be boring. Okay. So we will look at the coding, like how it is done. So what are the main components that we need to keep in mind? So even for the beginner, those who doesn't understand, doesn't have basics, even they can try something. Teaching you in that way. Fine. So yeah. So everyone, I hope everyone are attentive now. Yes. Okay, the people are joining. Okay. Yeah. So in the coding question, okay, in the coding question, the main components you need to keep in your mind. Okay, that is question explanation. Okay, question explanation. Question explanation. This is the one part. And the second part is your input. I mean, not input, but constraints. We can say it as constraints. Okay. Then it will be input. Then it will be your output. Okay. So these are the main components of a question. So as you enter the coding round, you need to understand these four components before you start writing your code. Getting my point? So these are the four components that you need to keep in your mind, understand it, and then you need to jump into writing the code. Okay. So coming to the question part, the question explanation is as you know the description. As you know the description. For example, he might describe like write a. I mean, I'm just giving an example. Write a program to print even numbers in the range I mean, 0 to 100. I mean, I'm just giving an example of the question explanation, how it will be, but it would be different. Okay, it would be different in your coding exam. So the question explanation, I mean, the description would be like this: write a program to print even numbers in the range 0 to 100. So by reading this question, you understood that you need to print even numbers in a given range of 0 to 100, right? Yeah, I mean, we look at the code later. So we understood that we need to, okay, so we have a question in such a way that we need to print even numbers in the given range, that is 0 to 100. So manually, like the even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, up to 100. Okay. Now, the constraints will be, the constraints are nothing but conditions. Constraints are nothing but conditions. So he might give you that it is 0 less than n less than 100. Sorry, less than 100. So please mute yourself. So guys, those are unmute. Please mute yourself. Okay, so constraints are nothing but the conditions. Like he will be giving the condition, like the numbers should be between 0 to 100. Okay, if you look here, so even numbers in the range 0 to 100 means, so most of you might think that we need to consider 0 to 4, 6, 100 also. Okay, so by looking at 0 and 100, right? We doesn't know whether to consider 0 and 100. So if you look at the constraints, it is clear that the number should be between 0 and 100. That means you shouldn't consider 0 and 100, right? You shouldn't consider 0 and 100. So the even number should be from 2 to 98. 2 to 98. So in most of the cases, you can ignore the constraints, but make sure that what the constraint is given. I mean, in some cases, the constraints will be very simple. I mean, for example, he might give like n value is less than 1,000 for our knowledge. I mean, that number doesn't exceed 100 or 1,000, so it is less than 100 only. The input value is less than 100 only. Yeah, I have muted everyone. I mean, they can unmute themselves and talk. I thought those who have doubts and everything, they can unmute themselves. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. So please make sure that you can mute yourself. Okay, constraints are nothing but the conditions. Like it describes about the input value, like what is the range of it. Okay, it describes range of input values. It describes the range of input values. And the next important thing is the input. Okay, the input, that is nothing but what is the input given. Okay, what is the input given from the computer? I mean, if he gives 100, if the input is, I mean, I will take a smaller number. If the input is 10, okay, if the input is 10, what should be the output? Okay, for the same question, that is printing the even numbers. If I give input 10, then it should print all the even numbers up to 10. Okay, all the even numbers up to 10. So the output will be 2, 4, 6, 8. So we are not considering 10 and 0. So in this case, you will be getting output as 2, 4, 6, 8. Right? 2, 4, 6, and 8. So here you'll be having an explanation also for few questions, not few questions, for both the questions. You'll be having the explanation also for those who doesn't understand the question. Okay, for those who doesn't understand the question, they can even understand the question from your input output explanation, right? He will be describing, he will be explaining the input and output. So so he might explain like this. So the input number is 10. So what are the even numbers that fall under 10 is 2, 4, 6, and 8. So that is the reason we are getting the output as 2, 4, 6, 8. So he will be explaining the input and output also. So you might get one or two example test cases on the left side screen. Okay, uh, in the left side screen. So by looking at that input and output explanation also, you can understand the program. So like even like most of the people, they doesn't show interest in reading the question, a long question, and then understand from it. So most of the students, they directly go to the input and output. Okay, input and output. So what is the program to be done? They look at the explanation and then they start writing the code. Okay, it depends on individual how you write a code. So like most of the people, they read the question and then they start writing the code. Some of the students, they look at input output and explanation of that input output, and then they start writing the code. And the others look at everything and then they start writing the code. Okay, so it depends. I mean, it's your choice to write. So what I suggest is, mostly first try to read the question. Okay, understand it. Okay, try to read the question, understand it. If you are unable to understand, look at the input output and then explanation. So you can get a bit of idea. If you look at input output and its explanation, you'll get a bit of idea. Okay, so you have two options to understand the question, right? The first option is, first read the question, try to understand it. If it doesn't work, go to input output and explanation, look at the explanation of input and output, and then start writing the code. So I'm giving you two chances, two options here to understand the question. So like few people, they doesn't know that they can even write the code from the explanation of input and output. They read the question, and if they doesn't understand, then they leave the code, right? So have you done it? Like most of you, like, do you know, even you can write the code from the explanation of the test case? Yes. So till now, is it clear the main components, like what are the main components that you need to concentrate when a question is given? Yes. So most of the, I don't know whether the faculty or other trainers would be, explaining in such a way, but I do it. Like I explain in such a way that how I look at the problem and how I solve it. Right. So I imagine myself as a student, and then see how I approach things. Okay, so that is the first thing I do. Like what I do is, as I told you, my approach is, when I enter a coding platform, I read the question explanation first. Okay, maximum I try to understand the complete question from it, and then I look at sample input and sample output. Okay, for example, this input you are getting is this, input you are getting this. So if I, if it is a very complex problem, and then I use pen and a paper to understand it. I mean, break the logic. If it is very simple enough, then I can do it in my brain. And then if I doesn't understand the input and output, I mean, I look at the explanation. I mean, if I doesn't understand the question, I look at the explanation of the test case. From that, I try to understand it, and then I write the code. After writing the code, I will look at the constraints at that time. I mean, after writing complete code, I will look at the constraints. Okay, what are the constraints? And accordingly, I change my code. So if the constraints matter, then I change the code, or else I won't change the code. While coding only, I will look at the constraints and then change it. Okay, so this is my approach. So I think most of you should do it. I mean, this is a very good approach if you follow it. Finding new opportunities to understand the problem and start writing the code. So most of the people, like most of the people, directly come to input output and explanation, and then they write a code from input output and explanation. You need to have a look at the question also at the end, because he might give some hidden test case. I mean, if the number is a negative number, then print negative. In such cases, he might give some of the test cases in the question also. So you need to make sure that even you can get that particular test case also. So till now, is it clear, or you have any doubts in the particular approach I have told? Everyone. No. Clear. So goes very code input. No, I mean, it doesn't depend on how optimized your code is in such way. It only matters whether the code is clear test case or not. That's it. Even if you choose highlight or follow, even if you choose any other complex data structure, you need to make sure that it is clear in all the test cases. That's it. You have a score for your test case. Yeah, I will be explaining this on online. Don't worry. Okay. So till now it is clear. Right. You understand the introduction of the your platform, and then you understand the left panel of coding position, like how to approach the question. Okay. Now let's see the next important is. Yeah. I will be sharing my coding screen. Okay. So this is my coding platform screen. Okay, this is my coding platform screen. Yeah. So you understand the question now. Okay. Everyone understands the question. Now we start writing the code. So choose the programming language from the drop down, and then start writing the code. Yeah. Another important thing is whether you will write the code from scratch or you will have functions implemented. Okay. There will be types of solid coding. So you will some platforms. Okay. And it goes also. He will be giving. There will be a function given like this. Okay. A function given like this. Okay. So to need to write your code here. Right. Code here. Okay. Here you giving a function there. So you need to implement the code. Okay. You need to implement the code. The input will be given by the compiler itself. Okay. That is this. So you need to use this ARR variable. So in the ARR variable you will be having the output. Okay. And then you will use that and just write the implemented logic. That's it. You need not concentrate on reading the output. Okay. Reading the output and reading the output using a scanner or anything of such. Right. So most of your learners doesn't know how to read the input. Right. In such cases also, they know logic, but they doesn't know how to read an input. So that's a second problem. I see most of the students. They can easily crack the logic, but they doesn't know how to read the input. Okay. They doesn't know how to read the input. So if you are getting used to that platform, there is no need to read the input. Okay. There is no need to read the input. If he gives. Okay, if you give some function over there in the coding screen, then you need not rewrite the input again. Keep in your mind, if the function is given and the argument is passed in the function, if it asks us to implement the logic in that function, then there is no need to read the input again. Clear, everyone? This is a very important point to be noted. So I see most of the students, even in the function, they read the input again and then they try to implement the logic. So in that case, it will give you an error. In that case, it will give you an error. Okay. Is this point clear, everyone? With CodeCubes, you need to implement the function only, so there is no need to read the input. Clear, everyone? So have you ever faced this kind of problem? I mean, there is a function given and you are again trying to read the input by using scanner or of input function in the Python, right? I think most of you have done that. Okay, fine. So yes, so you'll be given a function here on the coding round of when you choose a programming language. It will be giving a function in that particular language like this, and it will ask you to implement the code here. Implement the code here. So if a function is there, so and another important thing. So we have completed with two problems. The first problem is understanding the question. Okay, the first problem we say is that if we get some output and it does not match the output, does it display our output? Or yeah, it will display our output. It will display what is your actual output and what is the expected output. It will show. I mean, you can also debug it. You can use a print statement to debug and look at it. No problem. Okay, so the first problem we have is understanding the question, right? Understanding the question in two ways: by reading the description or by looking at the input, output, and explanation. Okay, that problem is solved. Next, coming to what is the second problem that I have told? This is the second problem, or I have discussed about one thing, right? Reading the input. Reading the input is the second problem, right? Reading the input is second problem. So if we gives the question, I mean, a function here, there is no need to read the input. Okay, there is no need to read the input. Just a minute. Okay, that is the second problem. So you don't need to read the input again. There is no need to read the input again. Okay, fine. So the next thing is directly jumping onto the code and writing the logic, right? That is the next thing we need to do. So now I will be giving you a question, okay, and I will give you a few minutes to observe it. Okay, I will give you, and I mean, have your own logic, right? So now the question description. Okay, I'm giving you the basic question. Even this question is asked in Accenture coding round. So the question description is, I'm just putting it in an easier way. Okay, so okay, you have a list of numbers. You have list of numbers. So now return a list of numbers. Okay, return a list of numbers with odd numbers first and then even numbers. Okay, the question description is, you have a list of numbers. I mean, you have a array passed as an argument to your function. So you need to return a list again. You need to return an array of numbers with odd numbers first and then even numbers. Okay, this is this thing. Your input is, okay, your input is, for example, 6. 6 is nothing but the size of the array, and then the numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, these are the inputs. 6 is nothing but the size of the array, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the numbers in the array. Okay, now output should be odd numbers first, that is 1, 3, 5, 2, 6. So output should be like this. Explanation now. Explanation is, so among the given numbers in input, okay, 1, 3, 5 are odd numbers. 1, 3, 5 or 2, 6 are even numbers. So odd comes first, then even. So the output is 1, 3, 5, 2, 6. 1, 3, 5, 2, 6. So I think it is very, easy one. And the constraints would be, so constraints are n less than 10. Okay, and array of 5 can be less than 100. Okay, now, so everyone, now look at the question. Okay, first read the question description. Just a minute. Yeah, so I hope it is visible. I got some, I think even I got some, what is missing? Okay, 246. Yeah, sorry. 246. 246, sorry. 246, fine. Yeah, thank you. 246. 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. Yes. Now, everyone, as I told you the approach, first read the question, try to understand it. If it doesn't understand it, look at the input, output, and explanation. So from that, try if you can understand. After understanding, start writing the code. Okay. So I will give you 5 minutes to look at it, everything. Okay. And analyze. Analyze. Analyze the question, analyze the constraints, analyze input, output, and explanation. So in the function, I will be giving you the function as well. So def random function name, it passes n comma array. Okay, write code here. Okay, so here n is nothing but 6. Array is nothing but list of these elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is the function. So you need to implement the code inside it. So understand the question. No, I mean constraints can be anything. Constraints can be anything. Like it can be. It depends on the question. So it can be n less than 10, or even you can. It can't be negative value. So you can do it. It should be between 0 to 10. Even at least 1 to 10. It should be 1 to 10. It should be 1 to 10. So in the range of 1 to 10. Consider 1. Plus should be less than or equal. I mean, less than or equal 10. Consider 1 and 10 also. Okay, even I'm getting the logic. Perfect. Okay, let me. So we'll go slow. So those who have completed it, just wait for others. No, I mean constraints doesn't help us to understand the question. I mean, if you understand the question clearly and you see that, when it comes to hidden test cases or mostly hidden test cases, in that case, you can consider the constraints, like what are the other possibilities that I can check. Did I write the logic for when it is when n is 1? Okay, in that case, you can understand. Okay, so yeah, so I hope everyone understood the question. So the question description, you have a list of numbers, written a list of numbers with odd numbers first and then even numbers. Okay, so I have read it. Okay, he's saying that he has given a list of numbers, so we need to return odd numbers and then even numbers. Odd numbers first and even numbers. So what is the doubt I will be getting here? So do I need to return two different lists? One is for odd numbers and the other is for even numbers, right? Like most of us might get the doubt in such way, like do we need to return different lists for odd numbers and even numbers? Okay, so it is not bit clear here. Okay, so let us look at the input and output explanation. So if we look at input, so 6 is nothing but the size of the array, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the elements in the array. So my output is single list. Okay, so there is a single list that is written. So we need to return only one list. So okay, let us see the explanation. I understood, like first we need to return odd numbers and then even numbers. Okay, let us see the explanation. Explanation: among the given numbers in input, 1, 3, 5 are odd numbers. I know 1, 3, 5 are odd numbers, and 2, 4, 6 are even numbers. So odd comes first. That means so odd numbers are 1, 3, 5. So it is coming first, and then even numbers 2, 4, 6 coming next. So now I got clear understanding of the question. Right, I got the clear understanding of the question. Now I can dive down into the code function and then implement the logic here. Okay, implement the logic here. So I hope everyone understood the question, or is there anything need to understand? Everyone. So did the approach told by me worked? Did everyone try? So whenever you are understanding a coding question, you need to have a complete picture of it. So you can't understand it in bits and pieces and then write the code and then again look at the question and then manipulate it again. So everyone, is it clear? How to approach in such a way that, I mean, approaching the question or understanding the logic? Question. Yeah, simple. I told you, right? First, read the question description. Okay, read the question description. So you can understand bits and pieces from it. I mean, there is a list of numbers. You need to return a list with odd numbers first and then even numbers. So as I told you, the doubt which I got is, do we need to return two different lists of odd numbers and even numbers? Okay. So the question is not clear. Okay. The question is not clear a bit. Now go to the explanation part here. Look at the input output. Look at the explanation. So in this explanation, you can see that he has explained what are the odd numbers, what are the even numbers as 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. So I understood that you need to only return one list containing odd first and then even next. Okay, odd first and even next. So this is my approach. So I understood now. So he has given the size of the array and input array. So I need to traverse the input array and then find out the list of odd numbers and the list of even numbers and then combine them and then return. Right? Combine them and return. So I hope this is the approach to understand a question. This is the approach to understand a question. So here, if you look at the constraints, that means the n value is nothing but the size of the array. Size of the array will be in the range of 1 to 10. That means he doesn't have any input. In hidden test case also, he doesn't have any input greater than 10. I mean, he doesn't have a list of array with 11 size, 15 size, 17, 20, like that. There will be test cases with only these inputs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that is how constraints are. So he will be giving only in this range only. N value will be in this range, and each array element will be less than 100 only, not a very large numbers. Not very large numbers. Okay. Now, okay, it is good. We understood the question. Now, how to crack the logic? Like, how can I find out? So the next question you need to ask is, okay, I have an what is the size of the list in Python without a loop, because using split function can take any number of inputs. I mean, there is no need to read the input, as I told you, right? There is no need to read the input. So even if you want to read the input, if we give the space separated integers, it will read only those many numbers which are given. It won't read any number greater than the numbers given in the input. So don't worry about the reading the input. First, concentrate on implementing the logic. So if your platform is CoCubes, then you need to implement only the logic. So don't stress in reading the input again. Okay. So now, yeah. So what is the approach? So we have an array and we have a size of the array. Okay. So I have an array of numbers. So now what I should do, I need to put odd numbers first and then I need to put even numbers. So what is my approach? First, we need to find out what are the odd numbers, what are the even numbers. I mean, try to separate it. Okay, try to separate odd numbers, even numbers. Okay, so what can we do? Okay, take two lists as odd. Okay, to store the odd numbers, I will take a odd list. To store even numbers, I will take even list. Okay, I will take even list. Now, how to check? I mean, what is the logic or condition to check whether it is a even number or not? So as you all know, how can you say whether a number is an even number? If it is divided by 2, if we get a remainder as 0, then we say that it is an even number, right? So if we divide the number by 2, if it is giving the remainder as 0, then we can say that it is an even number, right? So to identify condition whether a number is even. So the condition is if a number, that is array of 5, if a number when it divided by 2 leaves a remainder 0, then in such case it is even number. Okay, in this case it is even. So the condition is here. This is the main condition. to check whether a number is even. So if the number is divided by 2 and it is leaving the remainder, so the modulus operator gives remainder. So it is leaving remainder 0, then it is an even number. Or else, if it is not leaving the remainder, if you divide it by 2, if the number is 3, input number is 3, and you divide it by 2, what is the remainder? So if you divide by 2, we'll get either 2 reminders, that is 0 or 1, right? We'll be getting only 2 reminders, that is 0 or 1. So if you are getting remainder as 0, then it is even number. If you are getting remainder as 1, then it is odd number, right? It is odd number. So you can write it in either ways. I mean, you can write it in this way. If array percentile 2 equal to 1, then it is odd number. If it is 0, then it is even number. So this is the main logic of your function. Okay, main logic of your function. So how to filtrate odd numbers and even numbers. So if it is an even number, you need to push element, I mean add element to even list. So you have declared an even list, right? Even list here. So if it is an even number, add it to even list. If it is odd number, add it to odd list. Okay, add it to odd list. So at the end of the program, after completion of for loop, you'll be having a for loop to iterate each and every number, right? You'll be having a for loop to iterate each and every number, and you need to check if and else for each and every number. So after this, after the end of the program, you'll be having odd list with some numbers like 1, 3, 5, even list with 2, 4, 6. Okay, you'll be having like this. So what you need to do, he's asking us to return as a combined list, odd first, even next. So in Python, it is easy to return odd plus even. So what it does is odd plus even, it will combine both the lists. That is 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. So it will combine it in this way. So this is the required way of passing the output, returning the output. 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. So here you'll iterate each and every element using loop. So this is the pseudocode. Okay. So the another third approach is, before writing the code, okay, you can have a pseudocode like this. If you have time, so most of the people, they doesn't write the pseudocode. They just try to write the code directly. Okay, it is their comfort to write the code without writing a pseudocode. But so those who implement the pseudocode, it will be very easy to look at the pseudocode and then write the code. Okay, it is very easy. See, if you look at this condition, iterate each and look here, iterate each and every element using loop. So it says that we need to iterate through the loop. Okay, for n size. Okay, I will write a for loop. After that, we need to check the even and odd condition. So for checking the even and odd condition, we need to have if statement and this condition. Okay, so if it is even number, then what we are doing, we are adding element to even list. That means we are appending. So we need to append an element. Then in the else case, you need to append odd number to the list. So after getting odd and even, what we are doing, we need to return the output. So in order to return the output, the statement will be odd. We need to combine odd and even. So it should be odd plus even, right? Odd plus even. Constraints doesn't matter. In this question, if you look here, there is no need to concentrate on constraints. Like what he's saying is, he's just giving us an info. He's just giving us an info that mostly constraints will be given for extra info about the program. He's just giving the information that the n value, the question, the test cases will be in this range only. That means for the size of 10, the maximum is the size of 10. You can have only size of 10, up to 10. And the array elements will be less than 100 only. There won't be any test cases with number greater than 105. Greater than 100, 105, 106 like that. So it is just for information. That's it. It is just for information, right? So if you're comfortable to implement the pseudocode first and then write the code, no problem. Or else if you want to write the code directly also, no problem. So as you don't have it is comfortable to you. Okay, it is comfortable. So based on your comfort, you can implement the pseudocode and then write the program, or else write the program directly. So in these kind of exams with very less time, it will be very difficult to write the pseudocode and then write the program. So it's up to you. You can write pseudocode then write program, it's your wish, or you can directly write the program. So till now, is it clear, everyone? The question understanding, and then identifying the logic, writing a pseudocode. Yes, everyone. So I'm just showing you the approach, like how we'll approach a particular program, right? Perfect. So now, so we have a pseudocode. So next thing what we need to do is jump onto the coding platform. Jump onto the coding platform. So he will be giving you the function like this. Okay. So you need to start writing the code here. So as I don't have the boilerplate code, so I will be reading the elements manually. Okay, I'll be reading the elements manually. So n equal to 6, I'm okay. I will read the elements. That's okay. Or else I will give the statically n equal to 6 and array equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now I will pass. I'll give another number as arrange function. Now I will pass n and array to the function. Okay. This arrange of n comma array. So I will put it in the n comma array. Okay, I have passed n value and the list of array. Okay, I'm passing this n and array to this particular function. Now so now, so what is the first this thing we have done? User input. Okay, I will take the user input and also explain now. I mean, after implementing the logic, I will take the user input and I will show the outputs for different inputs. Okay, so sorry, just a minute. Okay, now what is the first initializations, like what are the variables do we require and everything. So as we know, we require two lists to store even numbers and odd numbers. So I will take two lists as even equals odd equals. Okay, I have two empty lists. Now what I will do is I need to iterate through this array. Okay, through this array, iterate through this array. So what I will do for I in range of n, that is size of the array, for I in range of n. So for I in range of n, that means it will start from 0 to 6, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, indexing starts from 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I need to check each and every element, condition for each and every element, that is if array of I, that is in the first iteration, it will be array of 0. Array of 0 is 1. Okay, array of 0 is 1. I'm checking whether array of I percentile 2 is equal to 0. I'm checking whether if it is even number, then even, I'm appending the element to the even array. Okay, we use append function to add an element to an array in Python, or else or dot append of array of 5. Okay. Auditor. So you can traverse. You can traverse. So first I value will start from 0. Right? I value will start from 0. So array of 0. Array of 0 is 1. 1% and 2 is not 0. It is 1. So it will go to else case and it will append 1 to odd like this. It will append 1 here. Now it will increment. It will increment I value and it will be 1 now. I value is 1. So array of 1 is this 2. The indexing, you know, right? It starts from 0, 0th element, first element, second, third, fourth, fifth. So array of I, that is 2. 2% and 2 is 0. So in this case, even dot append. So just a minute. Yeah, even dot append that element. So it is saying that it is an even number. So you need to append it to even list. So 2. Next, this element 3. 3% and 2 is not equal to 0. So it will go to else case. It will append 3 to odd. Then 4. 4 is an even number. So even dot append, it will append 4 here. Then next 5. 5 is an odd number. So it will append it to this. And then 6. 6 is even number. So it will append to 6. So even and odd list will be like this. Okay. So at the end, after completion of the iteration, so there is no element now. So it will come out of the for loop. After coming the output, right? Return combination of it, odd plus even. Odd plus even. So it will return a list of combine odd and even numbers, odd first and even next. So this is the logic. So let us run this. Let us run this. So if you observe here, what is the mistake I have done? I mean, the logic is perfect and everything. So if I run this, I'm not getting the output. Can anyone say why it is in such way? We are not printing. Where? Here in the main part. So here I'm in function call. So I'm returning. So there is a function call here. Okay, in the function call, I'm returning the answer to this function call. Okay, I'm returning the answer to this function call, but there is no variable or anything to catch. So if I have a variable called list, if I have a variable called list, okay, if I return the list, it will store into this variable. Okay, so if I print this list, okay, now it should print. Look here. Now it is printing. Now it is printing because there is no variable to catch the list. So that is the reason it's not printing. So I can even put like this also, print off, directly printing, catch it and then print. So 135246. Okay, understood the logic. Now I will take dynamic inputs. So n equals int of input. So this is the statement we use to read the input value. So if we use only input, it reads it as a string. Okay, it reads the input as a string. So I'm typecasting it to integer. We require integer only. Okay, int of input. After that, I need to read the space separated array elements. Okay, I need to read the space separated array elements. So look here, I will write the statement and then break it down. This is how I'm reading it. Array equals list of, I will break it down. Okay, I will break it down. So, where is my notepad? Yeah, if you observe here, list of map of int comma input dot split. So first, internally, this particular statement is executed. Okay, input dot split. Okay, input dot split. That means, so my input is in this way. If my input is in this way, if my input is in this way, what the statement is saying is you need to split the input at spaces. You need to split the input at spaces. I mean, if it is empty, then it's nothing but spaces. So if I have commas in the input, then in this case, the split function will be like this. You need to split the numbers at comma. So I have mentioned comma here. If you observe here, I have mentioned comma. Okay. So now we have spaces. So that's the reason I'm showing only spaces. It is splitting each number. So it becomes an individual number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. It is splitting. And then now next is map function, map of int comma number. So what it is doing is this map function is making each number as an input. So these are strings now. If you observe, if you use input function, it reads strings. So what we need to do, we need to typecast each number to integer. Okay. If it's an individual number, we are directly doing it as int of input. But if there are multiple numbers, I'm using a map function to map integer to each number. So I'm mapping int. I mean, that is nothing but I'm converting each input to integer. So now my every element is integer. Now what I'm doing is I'm converting these numbers into list. Okay, I'm adding it into list. So that is I'm converting them into list. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is my array. Okay, this is my final list. So these are input. I mean, the type is integers. Okay, and they are read and converted into array. They are read into array. Clear? Split method is nothing but it is a function which says where you need to split a particular input value. I mean, we are giving space separated, so we need to trim the spaces. We don't require spaces, right? We require only the numbers. So in this case, what you will do with the spaces, you just remove them, split the numbers at spaces. So you will get filtered numbers as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 without spaces. It is nothing but basically you're removing the space. Okay, you're removing the space. That's it. So clear with this reading of space separated integers or comma separated. So mostly in most of the problems, you will see space separated integers only. So this is how you read space separated integers. Like these statements are very, very important. I mean, you can just have a note. You can have a note. You can note it down. I mean, you will use it at many places. This particular statement. I mean, reading a space separated integers or anything. Okay, you can change it on your way. Okay, so this is how. So let us see now. I will run the program now. Just a minute. Yeah. So now let me run. So syntax error, list of map up. Did I close anything? Yeah, I need to close this. Yeah. Now, so I need to give the input now. First, we need to give the input as, okay, I will give random input 7. Now I need to give space separated integers. Okay, let me give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can you see? So I have given a dynamic input. So now that particular input is passed to the function. Okay, here we are returning the answer, that is odd plus even. Okay, odd plus even. You can have another, I mean, the large one done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I miss anything? There is an extra space, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Yeah. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Got it? Yeah, you can write the code without using n value. There is no need to. You can see if I can use this function also here, length of array. If I use this function, I will get the length of the array, right? There is no need of n value. There is no problem if you use a particular variable or not. It's your wish. At the end, you need to get the output. Okay, at the end, you need to get the output, right? Yeah, you can use for I in array also. For I in array, and you can do it. If I percentile 2, you can do. There are after giving n as 7, what happens if we give more than 7 inputs? If we give more than 7 inputs, it will. Okay, let me try. Yeah, it is reading. It will read, but in your online compiler, okay, in your online compiler, it will take only that many elements. Okay, it will take only 7 elements. So manually, it is taking more than 7, but in your exam, I mean in the other coding platforms, it will read only those many numbers. Don't worry, you need not worry about it, the size and everything. Yes, we should write the function logic in the function every time. So this is the only code you need to write. This code will be hidden, I guess. I mean, they won't be showing this particular boilerplate code. You'll be shown this function, okay, only this particular function, and he will be passing these arguments. So you need to write only this part of code. And few people, they doesn't return the output to the function. They directly print. They print the output here. I mean, odd plus even. So even if they get the answer correctly, but it is expecting an output value returned to the function, right? Whenever the function is given, that means it is expecting you to return a value. Mostly, in most cases, you need to return a value. So if you are printing it, it doesn't work. Your test cases will be failed. Your test cases will be failed. Okay, no need to worry about the constraints. As I told you, right? Constraints are nothing but for your extra information. I mean, to consider your hidden test cases or other test cases. You can check manually, right? You can check manually whether you are getting the output correctly or not. You can also debug. I mean, you can debug your code by using a print statement, okay, to check whether you are getting the exact output or not. For debugging, we use the print statement. Okay, so I hope it is clear now. So is it clear approaching the coding question and then till the end how to solve, like what are the mistakes that we do and everything? Perfect. Yeah, it will print the output if we use, just a minute. Okay, I think in this compiler it is not allowing the star symbol, but mostly, just a minute, let me try. We can use a star symbol like this to print the, here it is not, this compiler is not supporting, but in the exam compiler you can use star symbol, star of list, so that it will print the output as 1 3, I mean, yeah, 1 2 3 4 5 6, like this. It won't be printing in an array like this, but there is no need to return it in this way. I mean, for some questions he might expect in such a way. So you can use a star symbol like this to return the answer in that way. Even that can be a problem to, it might be wrong if you only return the array in such a way. But he's expecting it in a space separated. In such case, you can use star symbol, star of odd plus even. You can try. Yeah, it will give error. If you try to, read the input and write the code, again it will throw an error. No, OOPS concepts are not not important in the coding round. You don't require the OOPS concepts. Don't worry about the object-oriented programming. You will be getting questions in this manner only. As I told you, only this you need to implement the function. There won't be given any classes or any interfaces to implement. One list, you can try. You can, arrange the given list by comparing the elements. You can compare the elements and, use indexing or such, and then swap the numbers. You can do it. That can be done. It's up to you. Which is comfortable for you, and then you can do it. Like arrays and strings. Mostly you'll be getting arrays and strings, or basic integers and basic character-based questions. Mostly. Okay, so I think it is already late. So yeah, so I hope the session was a bit productive today. I hope you got a bit of knowledge of not randomly, diving into the concepts and learning the questions, but starting from the base, understanding the platform, introduction, what are the problems that we face, how to overcome that and all, right?